world of biochemistry. This is Miss Kate speaking.
And I am Sir Shanmer.
For today's journey, we're going to see some nucleotides. Chances are you've been told that nucleotides are those tiny Lego pieces of DNA and RNA. The background dancers of the big show called genetics? Right?
But what if we told you that some nucleotides are not just sitting in the background? In fact, they're out there, working full-time in metabolism, cell communication, and disease prevention. These nucleotides aren't just your make-a-gene nucleotides. These are the special agents of the biochemistry world.
Wow.
By the end of this little adventure, you'll be able to define other nucleotides with their biological role, identify the structure and components of biologically important nucleotides, such as cyclic AMP, NAD, and FAD, compare and contrast the functional differences between nucleotide cofactors, the NAD and FAD, and nucleotides involved in genetic information storage, such as ATP and GTP, analyze the biochemical consequences of deficiencies and functions in cAMP, NAD, or FAD pathways in relation to human health and disease.
Before we start our adventure, here's our outline for this lesson.
Lesson 1. Introduction to biologically important nucleotides. Lesson 2. Structural components of functional nucleotides. Lesson 3. Biochemical characteristics and functions. Lesson 4. Nucleotide cofactors versus informational nucleotides. Lesson 5. Health and disease implications. And Lesson 6. Summary and integration.
When we say nucleotides, most people think, oh right, those little things in DNA and RNA. But hold up, that's only one role of nucleotides, genetic information storage. There's a whole class of nucleotides that are functional, meaning they do stuff like send signals, carry energy, and help enzymes do their jobs. Let's split nucleotides into two teams. Starting off with the informational nucleotide. These are the basic units that make up DNA and RNA, consisting of a sugar, a phosphate group, and a nitrogenous base. Second, the functional nucleotides. These nucleotides go beyond their structural role in DNA and RNA and participate in various cellular processes. There are cAMP, NAD, FAD. So now, let's meet our main characters. All nucleotides have something in common. They're made of a nitrogenous base, a phosphate group, and a sugar, usually a ribose.
Wow!
But here's where things get spicy. Number 1. The cyclic adenosine monophosphate. It's basically AMP with a twist. Literally. The phosphate group is cyclically bonded, forming a ring. This twisty structure lets it act fast and fit into signaling rows. Number 2. The nicotinamide and adenine dinucleotide. It's a dinucleotide, which means two nucleotides joined together. One end has adenine and the other end has nicotinamide. That nicotinamide is key for redox reactions. Last but not the least, flavin and adenine dinucleotide. It is another dinucleotide, but this time, one side is adenine and the other is a special ring called flavin. That flavin ring, it loves electrons.
Wow.
This is also very good in redox reactions. Now, we will dwell on their characteristics and functions. So, what do they actually do? cAMP. What does this mean again? Yes, right! Cyclic adenosine monophosphate. Think of cAMP as a text message your cells send when something exciting happens. It's called a second messenger because it relays signals from hormones and other molecules. Its main job is to activate protein kinase A, or pKa, a big shot that controls cellular responses like turning genes on or off, or adjusting metabolism. For example, when adrenaline hits, cAMP helps you go fight or flight mode. NAD. What about this one? What is it called? Correct! Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. So, NAD is like a taxi for electrons. It picks up electrons during glycolysis, the Krebs cycle, and oxidative phosphorylation. When it grabs electrons, it becomes NADH. NADH then drops off the electrons at the mitochondria's electron transport chain to make ATP, our energy money. Here we have FAD. What does this mean again? Flavin adenine dinucleotide? Correct! This is the power partner. This is also like NAD, where FAD also carries electrons and become FADH2 when reduced. You'll find FAD in places like succinate dehydrogenase, an enzyme in the Krebs cycle. FAD also works in the fatty acid oxidation, helping break down fats for energy. And so, while cAMP is like an instant message, NAD and FAD are more like power delivery systems.
NAD and FAD are cofactors that help enzymes do redox reactions. ATP and GTP, on the other hand, is an energy or genetic info that fuels reactions or used in DNA and RNA synthesis. For example, ATP is kind of like a cell's cash or like a currency, It pays for things like muscle contraction, protein synthesis, etc. GTP helps build RNA during transcription and also acts in signaling. But NAD and FAD, they're more like electricians that carry electrons to where they're needed. Each type is adapted to their role. ATP's triphosphate tail is high energy. NAD plus and FAD, on the other hand, they're more designed for grabbing and giving electrons. Now, what happens when these molecules are unable to do their jobs? Well, low NAD levels are linked to aging, neurodegenerative diseases, and even fatigue. Cells won't be able to make enough energy, and the damage piles up. Well, on the other hand, we have NAD plus boosters being studied for anti-aging and brain health properties. FAD is made from riboflavin, or as you may know it as vitamin B2. So if you're low on B2, your FAD supply drops. That means problems in energy production, growth, and even some kind of skin and mouth diseases or issues. Not good.
Thank you, Mr. Shanmer. Now, let's summarize.
Woo!
cAMP sends messages in cells. NAD and FAD carry electrons to power the cell. They are structurally different from ATP and DNA nucleotides because they do functional work instead of information storage. Problems in these pathways can lead to diseases, but also present therapeutic opportunities. So, the next time someone says nucleotides are just for DNA, you can say, but no, some of them are literally saving your life every second of the day. With an attitude, period. Now that we are almost done with our adventure, the journey won't simply end just like that. So, we have prepared a surprise just for you. Here we have a QR code. Feel free to scan and find out what the surprise is all about.
You've now finished with your little adventure. Thank you for sticking with us till the end.
We hope you learned something today.